Support for the show can be you. Lux Media just relaunched the merch shop, and there's new stuff going up all the time. Go to shop.lvx.be, go snag yourself some threads. You can also go to patreon.lvx.be, sign up over there and get ad-free episodes and a 20% off shop discount every month. Ad-free, discounts. What more do you want? Seriously, what more do you want? Let me know.
Hello and
Welcome
welcome to
Alternate
f***ing
Casuals.
What makes you
fucking
casual?
it don't matter.
What you know,
Fucking
All right, we ready to rock?
Yeah.
Ready to fucking roll. Ultimate effing casuals. Nathan, Isaac, are we still casuals? I just don't think, I don't know if we are. Maybe in my casualness, I can't see how casual I am. I don't know how casual you feeling today.
I don't know. Does watching the Apex card or not watching the Apex card, does that make you a casual still if you skip like the worst cards of the year, or is that acceptable? Is there mercy there?
I think it's dependent. Like you're not a casual if you watch at least 3 dog shit UFC cards a year.
At least.
I watch way more than that, so I guess I'm not a casual.
Oh, that's fun. I'm not sure what level I'm at these days. Just being in the weeds, as deep as I get with all of this stuff. But who gives a shit? Because we're here to have fun, and that's what matters. Oh, Olive Branch. This is one for the boxing fans. This is one for like I think the hardcores, because I don't know how well known these guys are, but Jaron Ennis, aka Boots, versus Montes is his name.
I think it is. I always just call him Stan.
Yeah, Stanionis.
Yeah.
They're going to be unifying 2 of the major titles at 147. We might know this as featherweight over on the MMA side, but it's coming up this week. Thoughts? Predictions? How are you feeling about it?
Dude, I'm super excited. You know, Boots is native Philly boxer, and this is like probably the best matchup at 147 that you can make.
Agreed.
A very good unification bout. You know, Stanionis he's not a scrub. He's not a scrub. This is a very good resume win for Boots if he can get it done. And I'm gonna go Boots by finish. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna go Boots by finish. I'm thinking like around round 8, maybe. But yeah, of course I'm gonna back him. Very good fight though.
I like this fight a lot. You're definitely right. I mean, it's the only fight at 147 to make. It really has been the only fight for several years now, and we're finally getting it. I'm going to actually stand for Stan here. I think he's really going to present a challenge that Boots just hasn't had the opportunity to see yet. I mean, he's not really fought anyone that's remotely close to him in talent. This is his first real test against a near equal, and man, I don't want to pick against Boots. I want to pick Stan just for memes and to be different, but I think it'll be a good fight. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah. Anyone should have fun watching this fight, at least on paper.
I'm thinking, based on Boots' last outings against, what was his name, Karen Chakudzian or something like that?
Yeah.
Chakudzian did stand in front of him at times, and Boots couldn't get him out. And Stanionis, like, he lives in the pocket. That's where he does his best work. So that's where I'm wondering if Boots, like Nathan said, like this is a new look. You haven't seen somebody who tears it up on the inside like Stanionis does.
Yeah, I mean,
there is also a quality of like the greats in boxing where they will raise their level to a new challenge, and that's sort of why it's so hard for me to pick against Boots. I think he is that guy, but I mean, we also have never seen him against a guy that really is like this live.
Yeah.
So it does beg the question.
Yeah, I mean, whoever wins this fight as well, I feel like is just like the father of the 147 pound division, because I really don't see anyone else being able to beat these guys. So it's just a matter of like, you know, are they going to go to 154 or are they going to stay here and collect all the belts? But this is the best fight to make.
One that came out recently, just a few weeks ago, was Brian Norman. who had a pretty solid outing. It was a questionable opposition, but still, he did exactly what you would hope a champion to do, and that's when you put him in with someone who doesn't belong at that level. You make sure that everyone knows that this isn't your level. Is he like a reasonable challenge for either of these guys?
I mean, he's for sure better than Barrios.
Yeah,
but I just don't. I don't really see him being able to beat Boots or Stan, to be honest. In my opinion, but I mean, I could be completely wrong.
I would say that as well, but I'm not sure if I've seen enough to say really.
Who was the one he fought? Was it Santillan? He had like a crazy knockout, right?
Giovanni Santillan. That was he went 10 with him.
Yeah, that I mean, it was he had like a knockout in that fight, though, right?
Yeah, he finished it in the 10th.
Yeah, that knockout was sort of insane. But I mean, he has some definite skill though. Like, I wouldn't be perplexed if he was able to beat like Stanionis, but I do not see him being able to beat someone like Boots. But like I said, it could be wrong.
Yeah, with Boots, it's for Brian Norman. Like, you're looking at Boots, and it's like all the things that Brian Norman is good at, Boots is better at the same things.
Mm-hmm.
So the only wrinkle is Brian Norman has some fast hands. Of the four champions right now, he's got the best hands, I think. As quick hand speed, I mean to say.
Yeah, I'm hype.
Yeah, this is gonna be great. I'm really excited for this one. All right, so there you go. If you want to hear more talk about this, boxing B-sides, we get all the way into the weeds with it. No news or rumors for today. What the hell did I just do? All right. So, into the recaps, we only got one, and it's UFC Fight Night 256. This one was in Mexico City. I'm counting them now. We're not doing this UFC Mexico and then just breaking the chain there. From the bottom up, stop me if you need to. Markel Medeiros, split decision over Austin Hubbard at lightweight. Jamal Emmers, KO1 over Gabriel Miranda. At featherweight, Rafa Garcia, UD over, what is this, Vince Pichel? I think. He's Brazilian. He's got to be. At lightweight, Lupe Godinez gets the job done over Julia Polastri.
I feel like we have to pause here for a second. First of all, good fight by Lupe. The third round was really fun. But did you guys hear what happened like in between the second and third round?
No.
With Lupe, that like she was telling her corner that she had like even the night before she had felt bad, like was having the runs, like some stomach issues. But in between the second and third round, she felt that she had to like go to the bathroom really, really bad. So she did this entire third round with like a bunch of like pressure in her gut,
holding it back.
Yeah, she had to go to the bathroom like real bad. And the round actually ended up being like pretty insane and high paced. So I really don't understand how she was able to keep it like everything contained. But man, very good win for Lupe, especially considering like the fact that she actually was sick.
Like, kind of makes sense. Like, if she was able to pull that out, she's like constantly thinking like, if I get hit too hard, like I'm shitting my pants, like, and I'm immune forever. So I've got to really lock in here.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, like almost immediate, because I heard it on the broadcast, and within like 10 minutes, there was already memes on Twitter talking about like if she would have shot herself, she would have been pooping Godinez.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
but
so
she
easy.
made it intact. She made it intact. Though.
Yeah, that's good. Extra defense. Can't take any body shots.
Yeah.
Oh. Is this Melquizael Costa? Is this the guy that has like the skin vitiligo or something like that?
Yeah, he's got vitiligo, I think.
Vitiligo, yeah. He gets the job done over Christian Rodriguez. This one went to UD. This was a quick turnaround from his last one because he finished it pretty quickly. So no surprise to see him back up on the cards. But take a rest, man. You're doing a good job. And Teba Gautier, KO1 over Jose Medina.
This was a wild KO, by the way. This guy's physique is sort of insane. He got performance of the night. Very good win. It was very easy for him. But I mean, I don't know. He got like a pretty decent amount of, or he did like decent numbers on social media after this fight. So I think he's somewhat keep an eye on for now.
Is he the guy? He's like 5'7" or something at middleweight, and he's built like a fucking brick shit house.
Oh no, that's another one.
Oh, okay.
That's another fighter. This is like a new fighter. Yeah.
All right.
I know he is built. He is built like that, though. I mean,
Fucking
he is shredded.
Jack Diesel. Into the main portion. Kevin Borjas, UD over Ronaldo Rodriguez. Flyweights.
Yeah, I was sad here, but dude, Rodriguez, he got knocked down pretty hard. I forget which round it was. I don't know how he stayed up because he ate like a flush hand or flush. I think it was like a flush right hand, and he just like rolled out of it, stood right back up like immediately, and just continued like it was nothing. It was sort of insane to see, but yeah, he ended up losing.
Did he do the back roll and then like spring back up onto his feet?
Yeah,
I remember that. Okay, that was pretty cool. David Martinez KO1 over Simon Oliveira.
This shit was brutal. This was another brutal knockout. And what was hilarious and sort of like unhinged, low key, is like after the fight, because apparently David Martinez is like an actual physician. Like he's licensed. They asked him what he would recommend to his opponent after getting knocked out.
Oh,
no.
Yeah. And he's like, he had laughed himself. He couldn't believe they were asking him. He's like, just stay hydrated, rest, and nothing too extraneous. That shit was hilarious, bro. That is sort of wild for a reporter to ask that, but
that is
at the same time.
Yeah, that's quite the post-fight question to get.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe while you're at it, getting hydrated, open a book and see how to dodge a flying knee, dude. What the heck? It's not good for your health. Like,
didn't they ask? What's the Chinese woman? Was it Ximing?
Oh, so yeah, I remember the fight you're talking about. I don't remember her name, but I do remember the fight you're talking about.
And
it was like a brutal knockout. Yeah.
Yeah, Shao Kahn, I think was the. I remember the opponent's name just because it reminds me of Mortal Kombat. But Shao Kahn got taken out on a stretcher. They had like a 30-minute ad break because things were just not going well. And then she's a doctor too, and they're like, "Hey, so what do you think? What should they do for her?" Like, man, the fuck are you? Hell kind of question is that?
Yeah.
Moving up. Raul Rosas gets the Chihuihuis over Vince Morales. This one was kind of rough. Raul was having a hard time, wasn't he? I remember, I think it was like the second round. He was just completely caught up in Vince's grappling.
Oh, dude, yeah. I thought he was done. I thought he was about to get submitted. I think it was like the second round?
The second round, he was in a lot of trouble.
I thought he was cooked. I don't know. Actually, I still don't understand how he got out of that choke. But he ended up surviving and won the fight. But that was dangerous as shit.
Yeah,
he almost got caught lacking real bad there. Chihuahua.
Yeah. Manuel Torres TKO in the first over Drew Dober. Brutality.
Oh wait, where's the Edgar Chairez fight?
I missed it.
Yeah, so
Edgar Chairez gets the submission in the first over CJ Vergara. Rear naked choke. That's cool.
This is a fun fight. Edgar Chairez, he fought Joshua Van in Van's debut in the UFC. But man, I don't know if you guys saw the post-fight interview that they do in the Octagon with Edgar. They spoke to him and he got like super emotional because he said like prior to the fight, I think before his camp.
Oh, he needed surgery and he couldn't afford it.
Yeah, his grandfather sold like a truck to pay for his surgery. His grandfather, shortly before this fight, passed away, so he wanted to get the win. And it was just really nice. I mean, I remember feel bad for his grandfather, but he was saying my grandfather wasn't able to watch me, but I'm sure I forget the exact words. I'm gonna botch it up. I'm gonna fuck it up. Everyone go listen to the interview because I'm not gonna do it justice. But he said something about my grandfather's, definitely watching me, or he's watching me succeed, like from
From heaven.
from beyond.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
It was
has
a
a
really
front
nice-
row
yeah.
seat in heaven. That's what I remember he said that.
yeah, yeah, and they gave him performance of the night, so I think that was definitely a nice little boost there. Yeah, decent win for him. CJ Vergara also got cut, by the way.
oh,
Yeah,
R.I.P. Maybe get your grandma a truck in return.
yeah.
All right, Manuel Torres this time stops Drew Dober in the first. Relatively quick stoppage.
Yeah, I think Dober's chin is gone. I'm not gonna lie. I think it might be getting close to time to
27
put the
and
gloves
16.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It might be
long
getting close.
career.
I mean, he's recently, at least, he's been showing more signs of being like somewhat chinny. So I mean, I don't know how long he wants to drag this out, but man, Torres found that chin. I mean, bro, Drew Dober, he didn't even think he wanted to keep going. He didn't know the fight was stopped.
Oh,
Yeah, and him being like 1-3 in his last 4, he's not had a win since 2023. I mean, he needs to. I mean, like he's just floating around just outside the top 15 at this point. I mean, what's his? There's no path for him to go up at this point.
What's your
You're just
why?
gonna get. Well, he's gonna get killed by some prospect that comes up. That's his fate if he sticks around.
I mean, he had some fun performances. Like I feel like the fans, they like Drew Dober a lot. I mean, he had a nice win against King Green. But he's had a few fun fights that people will remember. But I do think, unfortunately, it's getting close. Though, he needs to start considering about putting these gloves down. But a great win for Torres. I gotta say, the hype is still high even after the Bahamondes loss.
Well, with Bahamondes, like you can kind of say like, well, it's not a terrible loss.
Yeah, it's a
someone
a
else
loss
legit.
Right.
Yeah, he's losing. He lost to someone, or that loss is aging well. I guess you could say.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Do you see the heat map on Drew Dober?
Yeah, dude, Drew Dober's face.
You can't even see his face anymore. It's just a red spot.
Tomato red. Yeah.
It's like somebody asked Dana White what the pound for pound rankings are.
Mm-hmm. That would be kind of funny if during these fights they had that heat map up, and it was like a video game where whenever that got hit, the icon would like shake a little, and so someone gets on the ground and the icon just starts like spazzing out, and the body just starts turning more and more red.
Yeah.
Have hit bars at
Dude,
the top.
Tony Ferguson fights is just like his face would be red. Nate Diaz as well. And yeah, there's some fighters that would be hilarious with.
Would it have been hilarious for Brandon Moreno getting the UD over Steve Erceg?
Oh
No, it would have been more hilarious if Usyk had won, but the MMA gods were not kind to poor Astro Boy.
Dude, I gotta say, Usyk has been like on a murderer's row recently with the fights he's been getting. I hope for his next fight out, it's easier. Like I don't know, we can talk about that in a second, but they need to be nice with his matchmaking in the next fight because he is actually good, but they've just been putting him up with straight killers.
3
recently.
hard fights in a row.
Yeah, Pantoja, Kaikara France, and now Brandon Moreno. I mean, like, bro, that's sort of egregious matchmaking. I mean, good matchmaking, but like hard as shit on Usyk.
He was on a huge streak going into the Pantoja fight.
Dude, he came close to winning that Pantoja fight. He came like real close. But yeah, I mean, unfortunately, this was a pretty clear loss for Usyk here. Moreno did. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was as good as the Albazi fight, but he did really well, especially like early on. Before he started to show signs of gassing. Man, it's just, I mean, it was a nice classic, striker versus striker. But Moreno came out on top. And now, I mean, you're sort of in this weird position at flyweight now because, I don't know, the matchmaking is going to be really peculiar now in this division, especially if Pantoja still wins against Kai.
Well, I feel like you have to make Moreno next because no one else even comes close. And I think with Moreno being on this like tear and maybe getting back to his old form. Just skills wise, he's probably the only guy that can really match up with Pantoja. Like Pantoja's not going to run him over; he's going to make him work.
Yeah, I mean, even their fight that Moreno had with Pantoja, it was a very fun fight. You know, that was not a boring title fight.
It was a close. 5-rounder. Yeah, it was I think it was a 3-2 kind of fight. So.
Yeah, it was a very good fight. So I mean, I would absolutely be down to watch that again. You know, especially now with Moreno, he took time to heal his injuries, sort of rejuvenated. We'll see him back. I mean, but I don't know, man. It's going to be sort of weird. Like, flyweight is just such a weird division, just because Pantoja has like absolutely executed that division.
It looks like he's going to start his rerun, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got to go back. He's about to go back through everyone again.
Yeah.
So like, Kai is going to be a fresh fight. That'll be fun. But if he wins that fight, which, you know, I'm probably going to back Pantoja in that fight. But if he wins that fight, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's got to be Moreno, because I think even Royval now is matched up to face Cop.
Yeah.
I forget the date, but I think that those two are matched up. So I feel like it's got to be Moreno. I mean, you can't do Albazi. France would have just lost in this scenario that we're talking about. I mean, Perez is so far out. Amabayev just lost. Usyk just lost. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Moreno's literally the only option unless they get someone new. Has to be
Tatsuro Taira. Throw him to the fucking wolves.
Dude, I did see people talking about that they wanted to see Moreno versus Taira. I did see that, but
no,
I don't know.
Because then Pantoja has no one to fight.
Yeah. I will say another thing that we learned actually during this UFC Mexico card is that for UFC 320, it's actually going to be in Mexico, in Guadalajara. So
that's
Moreno
also high
probably
altitude.
Yeah, I would imagine it's not quite as bad, but it's still up there. But Moreno, I imagine, is probably going to be on that card. That's in September. We'll have to see.
Yeah, has to.
What matches? I mean, we'll see what matches they do. But I feel like Moreno is probably going to have to be on that card. We have to be getting this Pantoja Kai Kara-France announcement pretty soon, right? Like we don't even know what card it's going to be on yet, right?
I haven't heard anything or seen anything.
Yeah, I feel like we got to be getting it soon, maybe for like International Fight Week, or hopefully like a little bit earlier. But I feel like that timing would line up well.
Well, if it takes all the way to International Fight Week, that would only be a 2.5 month lead time to the September card.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm hoping it's like before International Fight Week, because then the lineup would be a little bit better for like Moreno and Pantoja. Pantoja can get a little bit of rest time and get Moreno in Mexico. But even that, I mean, I don't know. But I feel like Moreno versus Pantoja has to be the next fight if Pantoja wins. Now, if Kai Kara-France wins, that opens up an entire new can of worms. Like there's
they'll
a
do
lot
the
of
rematch first, though. Wouldn't that be the immediate thing?
I feel like UFC, Pantoja probably should get a rematch, just because like he's been like super dominant. But
because he's been so super dominant, like we don't want you back in the driver's seat. So why don't you fuck off for 6 months?
Yeah, UFC might be getting some. I mean, because UFC's trying to get Honestly, UFC wants a Japanese champion in this division. Like they're getting another Japanese fighter in Horiguchi, coming back to the flyweight division, back to the UFC. I think they're probably gonna fast track him if they can. But yeah, I mean, if possible, I think they want someone else to be champion right now, just for like the fresh matchups.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, all this to say though, Moreno did a great job. He's still at the top of this division.
Yeah, definitely deserves a title shot, if nothing else.
Yeah.
And Kara-France might be the next challenger to Pantoja.
Yeah, I'm like almost certain that it's gonna be Kara-France.
And then probably after that, you're gonna get Royval again. So he's gonna. I mean, we're all talking as if. I mean, that's how dominant Pantoja is. It's sort of like DJ back in the day, where it's just like, okay, let's just go wipe all these guys again. So he's got maybe 3 rematches lined up. He's probably the only guy in the UFC you can, span out that long.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's the thing as well. Like, the winner between Cop and Royval sort of deserves a title shot as well. I mean, Royval beat Taita, and obviously if he beats Cop, I feel like he just has to have a title shot. So it's starting to get complicated. Like there's a log jam at the top of this division that hopefully, for the UFC, it seems like best case scenario is Pantoja loses, not because they hate him or anything, but just because of like how easy it would be to match up for championship fights.
New champion. You can do all the old names again.
Yeah.
Oh man, big implications. Anything more for the fight night card?
Good fight night. So it's some nice moments.
Support for this episode is from Ramen Bay. Ever have that ramen craving hit hard? You know the feeling. Sometimes you want that rich, savory broth and those perfectly chewy noodles, but you don't have time for all the fuss. Well, say hello to Ramen Bay. They've taken the best ingredients for ramen and freeze-dried them for ultimate convenience and incredible flavor. Imagine, vibrant vegetables, flavorful proteins, and aromatic seasonings, all ready to rehydrate into a bowl of pure satisfaction. No chopping or long simmering, just add hot water and a healthy spritz of Ramen Bay. Because the ingredients are freeze-dried and vacuum sealed, they lock in taste, giving you a quick and easy meal that doesn't compromise on quality or flavor. So, the next time the ramen urge hits, don't forget Ramen Bay. It's your new, not-so-secret ingredient to a delicious, hassle-free situationship anytime. Hit up the Bay for ramen and chill at ramen.lvx.be or use code LVX10 at checkout. Get yourself 10% off every order and help us out a little bit when you do. That's Ramen Bay. ramen.lvx.be. You ever feel like your online life isn't really yours? Like every email, every single click is being watched and sold to the highest bidder? It's time to take back your privacy with Proton Mail. You don't have to be hiding something to want privacy, and privacy is worth paying for. That's where Proton Mail comes in. No data mining, no targeted ads, no bullshit, just secure, private communication. Proton Mail is more than just email, though. I personally have the Proton Unlimited subscription. This has VPN, secure cloud storage, and encrypted calendars, and this one has saved me so many headaches. A password manager that keeps all your stuff in order. One secure platform, total peace of mind. Go to proton.lvx.be and get 1 month free when you sign up. Previews. I do this every time. It's kind of light-ish. No, it's not. Just kidding. Two actually on Friday, April 11th. PFL 2025. The season continues. This is still the first round. These are the bantams and women's flyweights. So, I think the number one seed is the guy who won last year, and I'm not seeing Dakota Ditcheva in the women's bracket. So we'll see. We'll see what they're going to do with her. One Friday Fights 104. Starts around 5:30 in the morning on the West Coast, and no hints or clues as to who is going to be on it. They don't really solidify the card until a few days beforehand. Yeah, it's a prospect series, so what are you going to do? But Saturday, April 12th, this is why we're fucking here. UFC 314 in Miami, Florida. Ugh.
Man.
Excitement.
Big day.
Yeah, I've been telling you guys how hyped I've been for this card for some time now. And I mean, starting, somewhat soon, we're going to be into the fight week. And man, the nerves are just going to be high as shit.
Yeah, lot of implications in this card.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, let's get into it. Early prelims, not seeing much, but stop me if you need to. Nora, oh shit, is this Cornolle? I don't know. Versus Haley Cowan at bantamweight. Tresean Gore versus Marco Tulio at middle. Alberto Montes versus Roberto Romero at feather. Sumu Derji versus Mitch Raposo at fly. Darren Elkins versus Julian Oroso at feather. And Cedricez Dumas versus Mikhail Oleksijuk at middleweight. Those are your early prelims. Oh,
Dumas is a recent comer, isn't he?
I've seen him a handful of times.
He's already been in the UFC.
He's been in for a while.
Oh, he has. Okay, maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
Yeah.
The early prelims start around 3 in the afternoon on the West Coast. Moving up to the prelims. Big Jim Miller versus Chase Hooper. Isn't Chase Hooper on a bit of a tear here?
Yeah, he's sort of like
He's getting his
he looks
striking.
different. I mean, he's grown into his he's getting his striking. He's sort of growing into his full like man body now.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a nice matchup just because it's like this is like the classic prospect versus like tested veteran
Right.
type matchup that we have in like a boxing. So like this is a nice fight. If Chase Hooper can't get by Jim Miller, I mean it's he's no longer a prospect anymore. But this should be a decently fun fight.
Comparing what I have with what UFC site is saying, one amendment. Darren Elkins versus Julian Erosa is opening up the prelim portion, which starts at around 5 on the West Coast. But they're otherwise same order. Moving up, Yan Xiaonan first at strawweight versus third-rated Verna Shandarova. That should be fun.
Yeah.
And Dan Ige, 15th at featherweight versus Sean Woodson.
He's got a really like unique physique.
Yeah,
But he just had a KO win, I think, in his last fight out. That I think went viral. But this is a really nice matchup. This is practically his fight to get into the top 15, which I think is actually what he asked for in his last win. So I think the UFC are at least giving him the chance here. But Dan Ige is not an easy fight, man. This guy has power, really good striking, and I mean, any mistakes, man, and you're gonna get put out basically. But this is a really nice matchup. Nice to head off the prelims.
Without looking at the rankings, I would say that Dan Ige is probably pound for pound the best number 15th ranked fighter on the UFC. Like he's a tough draw.
Yeah.
He's like the it's featherweight. Obviously it's stacked, but like that's a tough draw to just barely crack into the rankings.
And it beat Dan Ige.
Yeah.
Standing in the way.
Yeah, Dan Ige is legit. He's legit. I gotta say though, the height difference here is gonna be a little bit hilarious. Sean Woodson is 6'2", Dan Ige is 5'7", so it's gonna look a little bit funny in there whenever like they face off or whenever the fight starts. It's gonna be pretty funny to watch.
The reach.
Man, let's rise up.
That's the prelims portion. Opening up the main kicks off at around 7 on the West. Nikita Krylov 8th at light heavy versus Dominic Reyes 11th.
I'm gonna be nervous as shit for this fight, man. I've been a big Reyes supporter. I still think Reyes beat John Jones. But man, this is a hard matchup, man. Nikita Krylov, he's been a pretty, he's tested. I don't think he's gonna be a champion or anything like that, but he's not an easy fight. If Reyes can get this win, though, I don't know, man. I mean, we could be seeing this division go through like a little bit of a turnover. I'm not gonna say that Reyes is gonna be champion or anything, but man, I'm gonna be hyped if Reyes can get this win.
If he wins, that to me is like, okay, prime Dominic Reyes is back. And if we're just talking about like purely a striking matchup, can you imagine him and Alex Pereira? Like if the Reyes that fought Jones fought Pereira, how awesome would that be?
Yeah, I mean that would be a legendary like striking matchup. That would be tremendous. But yeah, I'm hoping that. I mean, Reyes looked really good against who was it, Dustin Jacoby in his last fight out. Man, if he can, keep it together for this fight, man, this would be a big win. I know there's a lot of people backing him. I mean, because a lot of people sort of feel bad he got done wrong against John Jones. But man, if he can get this win, I feel like a lot. His hype will be pretty high.
You would have to put him in with someone really high ranking, right? Because just for the name value.
Yeah. Hold on, let me see.
Rankings.
Yeah. So he's 11th right now. Gonna be fighting Krylov, who's in 8th. Roundtree. I don't think that timing is gonna match up. But Roundtree is without a fight. Rakic, he's without a fight right now too. Jan just lost. Jamal has got an injury. Oberg is probably too far ahead right now for Reyes to match up with. I mean, I could see Reyes versus Rakic. I mean, we're getting close to that top 5 now. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a nice path for Reyes to get at least towards the top 5 of the division.
Rejuvenated Reyes. And
yeah,
if Rakic looks like the way he has in his last few fights, then that should be an easy scalp.
He's looked decent recently, but man, if you were there, you know, back all these years ago, you're talking about like 4 years ago, he suffered some brutal knockouts. Yuri Prochazka, Jan Blachowicz. These were following the John Jones, the loss to John Jones. Insane knockouts. I mean, bro, the Yuri knockout is still one of the most brutal knockouts I've ever seen in the UFC. It's the way he fell, the way the elbow connected. I mean, the fact that he's able to still compete at this level. I mean, we're talking about he's going to face a top 10 guy right now in the light heavyweight division. If he can get this win, you know, after what happened to him all those years ago, I mean, this is just incredible to see.
Yeah, I'm thinking realistically, he's probably like 3 fights away from getting that title shot. But like with the way the light heavyweight division has been, I mean, it could be 2, right? Jan could retire. Rakic is up there in age and doesn't seem to be moving upward. Like, I mean, he's real close to getting that next title shot, and he just needs to, you know, keep the foot on the gas pedal. He can't afford to slip now. This is his last hurrah.
Yeah, I'm hoping he can get it done, but I'll say it again. Krylov is legit, so it's a challenge.
What would be next for Krylov if he wins? The same path forward as Reyes? Like looking at maybe Rakic to move up the rankings.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a similar path, but
like Blachowicz.
Yeah, I mean the path is similar, but Krylov's like a known quantity. His ceiling is not nearly as high as Reyes is. So like, yeah, he could win here and he could move up the rankings, but like, I would be kind of shocked if he ever cracked the top 4.
Yeah,
like he like Rakic would beat him. Jan would beat him. AP would do unspeakable things to him. Khalil would probably beat him.
Yeah, Khalil's sort of like the dark horse in the light heavyweight division because like he's got some really intense striking.
Yes, he does.
Like some really intense striking.
Like diet AP.
Yeah, I mean just like shorter, but he's built. Dude's a unit. But yeah, excited. Good fight. Very good matchup.
I haven't been able to. It's been a while, but what's Johnny Walker doing?
Oh man!
Oh no!
Leave him alone. Leave Johnny Walker alone.
He just got. We're actually like somewhat approaching a year from his last fight.
Yeah.
I think he got KO'd by Volkan Ozdemir. Is what I'm looking at here. I do remember that. So I don't know. I feel like he's definitely gonna fight again, though. I mean,
he will. He shouldn't, but
he's gonna approach double-digit losses here. He's 21-9 right now. If he loses again, it'll be 10 losses.
Start training people, man. You can't do it anymore. All right, let's keep moving up. Yair Rodriguez 5th at featherweight versus what debutante? Who is this guy? No name. What's even happening with this fast track bullshit? Just kidding. It's Patricio Pitbull, who is a pretty accomplished featherweight in his own right, just outside of the UFC. So that should be fun.
Yeah, this is honestly like it could have maybe been like the third fight from the top. Very good matchup. We know Yair Rodriguez, very fun fighter to watch. You know, a heavy in the kick department. If you can get him to the ground, it's a little bit easier, but on the feet, very exciting fighter to watch. Then we have Patricio Pitbull coming over from Bellator, champion featherweight division. This man has knocked out Chandler in the first round, Michael Chandler, and it was at first round, and it was I think less than a minute if I remember correctly. But this Patricio Pitbull, he's a little bit older now, you know, all things considered, but he is still an elite fighter, someone that probably should have been in the UFC like a few years ago. Very good matchup here. This is going to be a good fight. And and they're gonna fast track him probably. If he gets this win, I could see them even trying to give him a title shot. To be honest.
Well, yeah, you have a former champion of a different organization. Like, let's see how the other org measures up against UFC.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do hope it actually works out in favor of the Bellator guy, because so far it really hasn't. Askren was a complete disaster, and that wasn't really Askren's fault. He was way beyond his prime, but that's like kind of the common theme. Him and Chandler and Pitbull, they've all had very long careers in Bellator, and it's like, okay, well, now you're arriving in the UFC when you're past your best. So I fingers crossed. I think we'll get Patricio's best. I think he's still got it. If we can get exclamation point 2, obviously that's going to change the featherweight division landscape. If we have like, oh shit, this guy is like still championship material.
Yeah, it's good for the health of the division to have him here, and if he can get the win, like you said, it's gonna open up a lot of doors in this division for what the UFC can do.
New matchups.
Yeah, this should be a very fun fight though.
Moving up, 13th featherweight, interesting character Bryce Mitchell versus John Silva. What round do you hope John Silva knocks out Bryce Mitchell?
Dude, I am backing John Silva. Not just because of everything that was going on, but I genuinely just think, the fighting nerds are on a tear right now.
John Silva's legit.
John Silva, super well-rounded fighter, has power. Yeah, I think he'll get the win. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to go with a round 2 knockout. John Silva. But Bryce Mitchell is dangerous, man. This dude has like incredible grappling. If he can get you down to the ground, it is concerning. But I do think Vegas has it right. John Silva should be the favorite by a decent amount. I don't think we'll get a Josh Emmett type knockout of Bryce Mitchell this time, but I think John Silva will get it done.
Yeah, I think the way you beat Mitchell is just knocking him out cold or submitting him. That was how Emmett beat him. Topuria, I believe, was battering him and then kind of just fell into the submission. You got to knock this guy out, and he really can't test his grappling. Like the joke about him, or what he was known for before he kind of went, full flat earth and all his other stuff he's done, which perhaps should not be named. Was his, what do they call it? Like country jujitsu or something, redneck jujitsu, right? Yeah. So he's got like an interesting approach to that kind of grappling where it's sloppy, but like, seriously deadly on the ground.
Yeah.
But he's also not afraid to, he's not afraid to strike either. Like he will stand and trade, if it gets him to where he wants to go. So it'll be interesting to see. I think his knockout that he had versus Kron Gracie was that a ground and pound one? He like just bombed him out from the top, didn't he? Right?
He picked him up and slammed him, didn't he?
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
Like 2 elbows, like to finish up, but he was done after the slam. Realistically,
yeah, he was.
Yeah, yeah. So Silva's gonna have to keep it on the outside. He's gonna want to be fighting from mid range here. Like you don't want to be getting into a close fight here, because if he gets his hands on you, like who knows what's gonna happen.
Oh yeah, Mitchell's gonna try to get some takedowns here, but Mitchell's not scared to strike though. I'll tell you that. He might get knocked out, but he's not scared to strike. But man, I gotta say the press conference for this fight is gonna be really
it's already been good, man. It's already been good.
Yeah, Silva bringing out the globe was hilarious.
Bryce basically said he had God and anime on his side. Like he actually ironically said something like that.
God and
I got
anime?
plot armor. Yeah.
Oh,
well, he didn't actually say. I mean, that's the meme. Like, I have the power of God and anime on my side. But he basically said, he didn't say that exactly, but he basically was like, he just brought out the Bible basically.
Yeah.
I was like, what's up?
I mean, he thinks Silva's possessed is what he thinks. I mean, I saw something the other day that like Bryce Mitchell
I
was,
didn't
like,
see that.
No,
What?
he said he was possessed. Like, yeah, he said he was possessed. That God's on his side, he's gonna help him beat him. But dude, the other day, Bryce Mitchell, he like put a video on his Twitter or Instagram or something like that. But he was talking about how he was having trouble sleeping. He had insomnia for a few days, and he was asking for prayers because it was just some wild stuff. He was blaming Silva for the. He's like, every night since that press conference, I haven't been able to sleep, and he was asking for prayers. So I mean, I don't know what's been going on, I feel like Bryce Mitchell, at least in recent years, has been a little bit further off the deep end than he used to be. I don't know. There's a lot of weird things going on, but man, it's a big fight. This fight has a lot of eyes on it.
Well,
Well, there is also the power of just, I feel like unhinged people do better in combat sports because like part of their brain is actually turned off or messed up or something like that. So, but you know, it could also, if you're just totally distracted in fight week and you're not training well and you're distracted because you think he's like the guy's put a curse on you or something, that's probably not a good sign.
no.
Yeah.
It's definitely not. If he gets hit harder, he's gonna keep getting hit. Like it's his profession. That's what he does. This is only gonna get worse. Yeah. We'll see how much of a free speech absolutist Dana White will continue to be.
I am glad they did this fight though.
Yeah.
Like especially like after Silva called him out, it was like almost immediately they made this fight.
Dude, Bryce is gonna be insane on the mic if he does win.
Oh, dude.
Oh, my
what you said,
goodness.
I don't think they're gonna cut the mic. Dana's gonna have to be apologizing for stuff after the fact.
Oh yeah. He's gonna bring up the fishing comment again. Yeah, that's oh man. I didn't even consider what happens if Bryce Mitchell wins. You are absolutely right, man. Ooh, that's gonna be crazy.
Fishing, buddy.
Yeah.
What the fuck are you thinking, man? Nothing more for me to add. I would very much hope for Bryce Mitchell to lose. Hopefully, would it make him question his recent life choices if he did, or would he just blame it on the demons that John Silva supposedly has?
This is the issue when you like start mixing that stuff in, because like, I mean, then you start thinking like, oh, did God abandon me? I don't know. You start getting some weird stuff, and then you sprinkle CTE into the mix, and it's just not. It's not good. It's not good to have like these correlations.
No.
Or to be like so, or to like be putting everything at stake with those things like in your mind. Like I think it's not like healthy, but I mean, we'll see, man. It looks like he's already CTE ridden, unfortunately.
Hopefully, he doesn't turn into a family annihilator. Oh.
Yeah, well, I mean, bro. I don't know if you've been seeing like the stuff that's been going on with what's his face, BJ Penn. Man, there's some really scary stuff going on. I mean, you see it sometimes in football as well. These people, once they start getting older, the CTE that they have, I mean, it can get dangerous.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if this is a good. No, I'm not going to segue this one. Michael Chandler versus Paddy Pimblett, 7th and 12th at lightweight. Paddy the Baddie. I'm going to keep calling him Mikey Chan just because it's fun. It's fun for me. But are we seeing the fall of Michael Chandler? Is this the end?
Not in this fight.
Not this
Paddy's
one.
getting his head blown off, man. Like, this is... like, Chandler, yeah, I mean... Here's the thing about the kind of asterisk on Chandler's career. He's not had, like, an easy layup since he arrived in the UFC. He's fought no one but killers. It's like, yeah, he's lost, you know... I think he's, 2-3 in the UFC, or 3-4, or something like that. He's lost, lost more than he's won, but he's not like not for lack of for trying. He's just fought elite competition, and he's fighting a guy who, to be honest, like, I mean, I'll say it. I mean, Paddy's just been nothing but hype, right? He needed a robbery to preserve his UFC undefeated record, and or to preserve his win streak rather. And like, he's really only good in one area, which is his grappling. And Chandler hasn't shot. Maybe he shot a little bit against Oliveira in their second fight, but like, this man's here to throw haymakers. He's not going to the ground with Paddy. And if he does, I mean, well, you know, maybe his brain got hit a little bit too hard in his past couple of fights, if that happens. But I'm expecting this fight to stay standing, and I think Chandler's just going to tee off on this guy. It's not going to be close.
Yeah. I agree with everything Nathan said. I've been a pretty big Paddy hater ever since that Gordon fight. Like you said, robbery. I thought Gordon won that fight pretty clearly, and then the way he got on the mic after
Acting
after
like
that
he didn't.
fight, claiming, yeah. So I've been a pretty big Patty hater since then. But man, it is just all a hype job, really. I don't look at this guy and think like, oh, he's a top 5 lightweight, or he's gonna be champion. I've never had that opinion about Paddy Pimblett when I watch him fight. Michael Chandler, on the other hand, like Nathan said, started out with Dan Hooker, beat him. He's been matched up with Dustin Poirier, Charles Oliveira, Justin Gaethje, Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson and Dan Hooker he beat. But man, I mean, we're talking about Charles, Dustin, Justin. I mean, these are legendary lightweights. Yes, he lost to them, but I mean, bro, they were wars, man. That Justin and
Yeah, they
Michael
were
Chandler
all
fight,
awesome fights.
They
All
were
awesome
wars.
fights.
Those are wars, man. Yes. I mean, he. If we're talking about someone going to the deep end, Michael Chandler lives there. Whenever he has these fights, I mean, he has experience. Patty's never been in wars like that. Patty was going to war with Jared Gordon. I mean, let's just be real here. I feel like Michael Chandler he's gonna lay out Patty. I'm just gonna say it. Michael Chandler is actually the underdog right now, which is sort of insane for all the
Easy
betting
money.
people out there. If you want to get in on that. But yeah, I really cannot see Paddy Pimblett beating Michael Chandler. Like this feels like the hard stop for Paddy Pimblett. Like this is the moment where he loses. I think really this is the UFC telling him, prove to us that you can actually compete at an elite level. Yeah. I mean, because Michael Chandler's ground game isn't even that bad. He was grappling with Oliveira. I mean, it's not that bad. I don't really see anywhere where Paddy can beat him. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe whenever we do one of these shows in a few weeks, I'll be eating shit. I will honor that. But I just cannot see Michael Chandler losing this fight.
One of the only ways that Paddy can beat him is with that jiu-jitsu. If Chandler actually is dumb enough to shoot and Paddy pulls guard, I mean, shit, anything could happen there. But I'm hoping that Chandler isn't dumb enough to do that. That's his only elite skill. Everywhere else,
He's outmatched.
you have the advantage. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
But
I don't know,
this
I
was
know
it was Jeff Neal, right, that fought Paddy last time?
no, Bobby Green, no?
Bobby Green, yeah, but immediately in the fight he shot and got submitted.
Yeah.
He was supposed to lose that fight if Green just stood and threw punches at him.
Yeah. I mean, I think Michael's a little bit smarter. I mean, I know he got subbed by Dustin in their fight, but that was after a few rounds. I mean, they were exhausted. But Oliveira had difficulty, even though he had his back. I mean, it wasn't super easy to submit him. But yeah, I mean, like you said, if Michael Chandler just bum rushes in and gets caught in the guillotine, I guess it is over. But I'm hoping he will have a little bit more intelligence than that. I'm 90% sure Michael Chandler wins, by the way. I'm pretty confident. I feel like this is a safe bet.
Trying to remember if I'm remembering the Oliveira fight correctly. That was the one where he picked him up and would run around the cage and then slam him in the middle of it. Didn't he do that a few times?
Well, Oliveira had his back. Well, that was because they did a rematch too, right?
Yes, I believe
He's
so.
fun with in the second fight. The second fight was where Oliveira was on his back and he stood up. I think he did 2 or 3 times and slammed Oliveira back down.
He ran around in a big circle first, and then he just jumped and landed on his back.
Yeah.
Is that the type
in the first fight
silliness we can expect?
I refuse to believe that Paddy Pimblett has grappling anywhere in Charles Oliveira. I refuse to believe it. And I don't know. I've seen Paddy strike. His chin is so open sometimes. And it's just really wild striking. I just feel like Michael Chandler is a way more refined version of Paddy Pimblett. Way more refined.
Well, anything more for Chandler and Paddy the Sadie? All right. In the main event, Alexander Volkanovski versus Diego Lopez, first and third for the vacant featherweight title. Oof. The memes have been good so far. It's betting what I'm gonna do if Volkanovski loses, and it's a lot of people going around, and one of them was 2 parents are sitting on a couch watching a movie, and then there's a gunshot in the background, and they walk to a doorway that's open. You don't see what's inside it, but it says, "Me if Volkanovski loses," and the parents
my
start
God.
freaking out. And yeah, it's like that's a holy shit, man. I don't know if is it that serious. Is he that big of a fan favorite? Just a beloved figure.
Just speaking for myself, like I'm throwing myself off my apartment balcony if Volk loses. Just life isn't worth living. And I of course said in jest, obviously, but as far as fan favorites that are still active, Volk's still way up there for me. But at the same time, like, guy needs to prove if he's legit or not, and this is the best way to do that is fighting Diego Lopez.
Yeah. I mean, I've yet to meet a single person that actually dislikes Volkanovski, online or in person. I think as far as UFC fans go, I mean, this guy, he's super, super nice, and obviously an incredible fighter, an incredible career at featherweight. But his last two outings have been pretty bad knockout losses. Islam got that head kick KO, and then obviously Topuria murdered him against the cage. There is, I'm going to say, like a decent potential that we could see Volkanovski get knocked out in his last 3 fights of his career. Like this, Diego Lopez has, I'm not going to say, nowhere near with certainty, but he has a decent chance to knock out Volkanovski in like pretty brutal fashion. I'm actually backing Lopez for this fight just because I've been with him since his UFC debut.
The beginning.
Yeah, but Volkanovski has like definite chances in this fight. Like the longer this fight goes on, the more you can start to favor Volkanovski, just because I think Volkanovski definitely has the better gas tank here. But in terms of like, power, Diego Lopez has a decent, and I'm probably going to say like serious advantage. Super aggressive. Lopez has incredible grappling.
He's pretty well rounded.
Wrestling. Yeah, I mean these are both like super, super well-rounded fighters. Yeah, it's really like only the cardio difference. But man, this is a good matchup. I'm gonna favor Lopez, I think, but like I said, the longer this goes on, I think the more you can start to think Volkanovski might get this done.
How many times has Lopez gone 5 rounds in his career?
Is
has
exactly
he ever?
My question. That was exactly what I was going to ask.
No, he's only ever been to
three
round
rounds.
3.
He's only gone 3. So yeah, deeper
Yeah.
waters. That does favor Volkanovski. The gas tank. I sometimes wonder if the gas tank thing about Diego Lopez is a little overblown. Like he had one questionable performance, and everyone's saying he has no gas after that.
It is definitely overblown. The fight that people refer to all the time is like the Dan Ige fight.
Ige, of course.
But that was the fight where like Diego Lopez had to weigh in twice. And I think they ended up doing like the fight like at 165 or something like that. But he did like 2 separate weight cuts. So I mean, it's sort of understandable if your gas tank isn't going to be as good. But I mean, I just think his style definitely requires a lot of energy output. So I think Volkanovski's gas tank is better by a decent amount. But I mean, I don't think in round 4 he's going to be, laying on the ground or like completely stationary.
Yeah.
Like his gas tank isn't that bad.
But even if he isn't like gassed, he's fighting against a guy this would be Volk's 10th straight title fight. So he's been knocked out twice before the final bell, and he's had some finishes, but he's been training for 5 rounds for a really long time. And
yeah,
like that experience I would think has to pay off. It's tough because like I still have a question about his chin. Like most people, if you ask them, would say that Volk's chin is gone. But like in my opinion, right, he has the short notice fight against Makhachev and gets head kicked. There's not many chins in the world that can withstand a head kick, much less from a guy in your above division. And then he fought Topuria, who just knocked out Max Holloway, who's never been knocked out ever. So, he could have just really just had a very bad luck of the draw in those fights, and his chin may be still durable enough to withstand Lopez.
Not as bad as people are making it out to be.
Right, but we won't know until we see it. Like if he just gets hit and just dies from the first really good shot Lopez lands, then we'll know. But I think I wouldn't be that shocked if you see Volk weather that storm and then round 3 onward, really just step on the gas. And it's going to be bad if Volk is still up and moving around in round 4, because he's got so many different ways that he can attack Lopez. He's got things he's never seen before, and that championship experience, he's just going to coast those last 2 rounds if he gets there.
Yeah, Volkanovski's the favorite right now, very, very slightly, but he's the favorite right now. And I think a lot of people are thinking, like you said, he for sure has the experience edge. People think if he can just survive these first 2 rounds, things get easier for him. He's gonna be able to start stringing stuff together. And if he can get to that point, he has an absolute chance to win, 100%. It's just, can he get past that initial barrage that Lopez is gonna be throwing at him? I think it's a very unique or a very interesting storyline within the fight that I'm excited to see whenever fight night comes.
Odds are Volkanovski at -140, Diego Lopez at +124. So that's pick 'em right there, or -148. Excuse me.
Yeah, very, very close.
I've been thinking as we've been talking, it's Royval versus Taira. Those first 3 rounds, Taira was super tough, gave him a hell of a fight, and then in the 4th and 5th, he was completely out of it because he had never gone that long before. So I wonder if the same could happen to Diego. I hope not, but it's possible.
Yeah, Diego has dog. We've seen it in some of his fights, like in the Most Far fight, for instance. He's not gonna give up even if he is tired. But yeah, Volkanovski is just gonna be so much faster in those later rounds.
Yeah.
If he makes it. But yeah, honestly, what I think Volkanovski is gonna probably try to adopt is a heavy leg kick approach. Honestly, like what he was trying to do against Topuria.
Oh yeah, chop. If he's not able to get in on you, then
yeah, just interrupting Lopez as much as he can,
right,
at a safe distance.
But reach favors Lopez.
Yeah,
I think what'll be interesting to see, and I don't know if I paid enough attention to this about Lopez, is that the reason Topuria was able to get that KO on Volk was largely because of his footwork, right? He walked into the cage, set him up on the perfect time, and got him to move straight back into the cage. I don't know if Lopez has that kind of pressure. Now, he may not need it, but if Volk is kind of able to just move in and out, kind of keep away from the cage and stay at center, what does that fight look like? Is Lopez able to change the style and the tempo of the fight if Volk is able to be comfortable like that?
Yeah, the biggest thing about Lopez is his power. He's obviously a grappling threat. I don't know if he's too much of a grappling threat against Volkanovski just because Volk is good. But yeah, his combinations as well. He's got some deadly combinations. But like you said, man, Lopez does not have the footwork that Topuria has. That's for certain. He does not have that footwork. So it's going to be very interesting to see how is he going to nail down Volkanovski to where he can get some punches off. Yeah, this is a super interesting fight. Very good headline.
He's in the Lobo gym.
Yeah.
Is that the Grasso family gym?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh, cool. So they're the Wolves instead of challenging the Eagles. That's fun.
Animal gyms.
Yeah.
I think there's actually a gorilla too, or something like that. But yeah.
Eagle FC before the Nurmagomedovs bought it was Gorilla.
Oh, nice.
But anything more for 314?
I'm excited.
You've been listening to The Ultimate Effin' Casuals, a Lux Media production. If you'd like to give your thoughts, or you need to let us know how terrible you think our takes are, you can duck us and text the anonymous line at 833-589-7637. If you want to stand on your business, send a voice message or send a voice note in WhatsApp, and we'll see if you're interesting enough to make the final cut of the show. 833-LUX-PODS. If you prefer to hit us up on social media, the account name is LVX Media Net, all one word. That's YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky, all the rest of that bullshit. If you can't find us, chances are we're not on it. Patreon is where you can go to get ad-free episodes and other behind-the-scenes exclusives while directly supporting what we do. LVX Media Net over there, just like everywhere else. Even if you don't sign up on Patreon, you can still help us out if you check out our ad sponsors. You can also help by giving us a rating and a review on whatever app you're listening on. And last but not least, You can also check out the merch shop. New stuff goes up all the time. Metal intros by Anders Janhunen. The trap intro and the outro are by Middle of Nowhere Beats. And for more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lvxmedia.net. So we're heading into UFC 314. Parting words.
Warbolk, this is your last opportunity, dude. Like, you may go on to fight other guys in the UFC, but it'll never be at the top for the right of champion. So, last opportunity, make it special, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna play a little bit devil's advocate here. I'm actually a Lopez fan, but I do not want to see Volkanovski get knocked out again, please. So I'm hoping we get like a simple, decision win for Lopez, to be honest. But no further brain damage or severe brain damage for Volkanovski, please.
I say this a lot about the fan favorites. Is like, I'm new to the MMA world, so I don't have the same attachment to these guys. But with Volkanovski, I did kind of go out of my way and checked out his social media stuff, and the guy is fucking hilarious. So I would also not like to. I don't necessarily want him to win because I dislike him or anything like that, but like I would like to see some fresh blood at the top of the division, like we were talking about with Pantoja. It would be nice to see, like, the turning over of the guard needs to finish at some point, and I'm hopeful that this is it. Not because Volkanovski is undeserving or anything like that, but
yeah, I didn't even think about it from that angle, but it's absolutely old guard versus new guard.
Yep.
Will we see the passing of the torch?
But that's it. That's it for this edition of the Ultimate Fucking Casuals. See you on the other side of 314.
Yep.
Peace.
Restart. All right. The one and only Alex. Why would or why should an MMA fan try boxing? Why should they watch it, start following it, and most importantly, why would that lead them into wanting to listen to boxing B-sides?
I got a question for the audience listening to this. Do you like Aljamain Sterling fighting? Do you like the way he fights? If not, or if you do, keep watching it MMA. Because I get it. If you like watching dudes dry humping each other for 5 minutes while the ref begs them to do something, by all means. However, if you like the brawling aspect of MMA, which is a lot of it is boxing, you know what I mean? And it's also the most fun part of MMA. And boxing is just for you. I mean, if you want real violence, precision, and non-stop action, you gotta watch boxing. You gotta tune in, because these guys aren't just hugging on the mat. They're standing toe to toe, dodging punches by the damn millimeter. You know what I mean? And delivering like the knockout power that leaves dudes twitching on the canvas like Osleys. I got to throw him in there. I'm sorry. I got to throw my boy.
Bryce Mitchell also very recently in the news.
There's also no lucky submissions and no laying on top of someone to steal a decision. It's just fists flying and jaws shattering. You want to see real warriors? Step out of the cage and into the ring.
Damn. That
last part was perfect.
Yeah, that was a good little tagline. I knew it was going to be antagonistic. I just knew it. But
I didn't want it to be like too rough, too harsh.
all right. Just to get right into it. Nathan, you and I both tried the Strikeman dry fire system. What did you like about it? Let's get, or no, scratch that. What did you dislike about? I have the 380 ACP and I have the 6.5 Creedmoor. What did you test out and what did you dislike, just to start off?
So I got the 223 5.56 caliber system, and really my only complaints really just came from the platform I was using. So my 5.56 is a AR-15 platform, semi-automatic. Just in that context, a little tough to use. because it requires the trigger to be reset before every.
So it's pulling the
Like, you
charging
don't actually
handle
have
every time, right?
Right, you're not relying on the gunpowder resetting your or recycling around, so you have
Yeah.
to rack that thing back and let the bolt fly. But that being said, there's plenty of other, different types of systems that use 5.56. You don't have to use
AR style.
that semi-auto system. Yeah, we're in that context when you have a big old bolt like that. Where sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Maybe chop that up. But in that context, it was a little tough to use. I think this is a system that's much more oriented towards either bolt action or a pistol style, where you could just rack the slide, reset the trigger, and then you're ready to go.
Yeah, I had a similar experience on the 6.5 Creedmoor. I have a bolt action, so you don't have to go through the full range of motion to get it reset, but you do still have to pop the bolt and then put it back down to get the trigger reset. But as you were alluding to, the pistol version, I have my 380 is a single action, double action, so I don't have to rack the slide, but I do still have to pull down the hammer a little bit to get it to fire off.
Gotcha.
What about the
Yeah,
app?
but I mean,
What did you think about that?
I thought the app was really cool. The setup was very easy. It took less than 5 minutes to get the whole stand and phone configured. I do really like a lot of the gamified features that are kind of put in there. So there's like some different challenges, and you can get on kind of leaderboards and do matches with people. And I think that's just really cool because, when it comes to getting better at shooting, one of the best ways to do that is learning how to shoot under pressure. And so having something that's very low stakes like this, that is it's going to force you to be accurate, but it's going to do so in a way where it's making you, you're not just doing it repetitively at a range. You're trying to almost beat yourself or beat a friend. And that competition, that raising of the stakes is going to help you become a calmer shot over time, I think. I really enjoy that aspect of the app.
Yeah, that's something I've heard discussed. Like when it comes to pressure shooting, is your max effective range. Cut that in half, and that's about what you're looking at shooting under pressure. So if you're, if you're practicing with friends, it makes it a lot easier than I don't know. We'll call it a zombie apocalypse. When you don't have walkers coming down your face, that's a whole lot easier to just play around with friends.
And also, you're doing it without spending any money on ammo. Like,
oh, boy.
Obviously, we've all just happened to the stock market these last few days, and ammo could become significantly more expensive. But
Just
now with the Strikeman laser firearm training system, you don't have to spend oodles of money on ammo. Just you can take your time in the comfort of your own home and practice all you want.
Man, that was actually kind of tough. Like moving it back, I started off at what was it, like 10 feet, and then I moved it back to 20, and even that, just that little bit was still, it's like, man, I thought I was good, but I apparently need a lot more practice. But good to find out
I
here.
I think being on that timer too really shows like, oh wow, this is kind of the gap in skill that I need to work on. There might be, and it's also different ranges. This is similar to like archery or long range shooting really, but like you could be really good at 100 yards, but you go out to like 125 or an odd number, and all of a sudden you're messed up.
Oh, right.
And so this is, being able to very quickly just change the ranges that you're shooting at, just in your home, in your backyard, whatever. Like that's a really, really helpful skill you can hone with this system.
Oof. Yeah. Well, overall, I would call this a 4 out of 5 buy. Like it really depends on what it is that you're trying to do or what you're trying to practice with. I can't speak to any of the other calibers, but if it's like a handgun caliber, I always say if you can get a single double, get a single double, but I know that's not useful for everyone. Nonetheless, it should still help to increase your max effective range, like under pressure, right? Like I said, cut your original in half.
Yeah, and I agree with that recommendation. I think any kind of pistol caliber, I think, is really well suited to this system. I think if you're going to do rifle, I think bolt action is probably going to be your best bet. But yeah, definitely concur with your assessment on its usefulness as a pistol training tool, which I think is, if you look at, I think that's what they're aiming for.
Yeah, I think so
when
too.
they were marketing this. So I think they did well there.
I think they have shotgun gauges as well. Like that's kind of wild. Not what I would have expected for like a dry fire kind of training thing, but hey.
Oh, that sounds like it would actually work because you'd just be for a pump action.
Yeah, you just pump it, right? Yeah, that's right.
So.
All right. Well, Nate, thanks for jumping on real quick. Just wanted to get a little bit on the Strikeman. Give us money.
Yes, sir.
If you want to get yourself hooked up with a Strikeman dry fire practice system, go to strikeman.lvx.be. You'll get yourself 15% off while helping us out a little bit in the process.